Sir Walter Raleigh, the sea dog, poet, explorer, and privateer. The Discourse. Hello and welcome to The Discourse. We have mentioned the name of Walter Raleigh in the past when we talked about Edmund Spenser, who was a close friend of Walter Raleigh. Walter Raleigh himself was class poet and a prose writer, historian, adventurer, navigator, scholar, courtier to Queen Elizabeth I, and one of the most successful and favorite sea dogs of Queen Elizabeth. Sea dog is an interesting term which is used to denote both pirates and privateers. Walter Raleigh was a privateer. The pirates and the privateers. The Elizabethan era is also known as the Age of Exploration, as almost all European powers of that time were engaged in sea competitions to find new sea routes to the New World and India. The ships used to carry expensive goods from faraway lands, and this encouraged goons to create teams of sea robbers whom we call as sea pirates. Privateers, on the other hand, were hidden soldiers who were supported by the state powers in secret, and they were used for two purposes. First, to protect the ships of their own country against the pirates and against the attacks from ships of other countries. And second, to attack and rob the ships of other countries and jeopardize their projects of exploration. Sir Walter Raleigh was a favorite privateer of Queen Elizabeth. The privateers used to attack the ships and colonies of their enemy state. After the Spanish Armada attack against England, Queen Elizabeth had a grudge against Spain, and Walter Raleigh successfully harmed Spanish fleet again and again to win praise and support of Elizabeth. As a privateer, Walter always attacked the ships of other European power, specifically Spanish, to serve the benefits of his country England. We can say that a privateer is a government servant, a pirate supported by a government against the governments of other countries. Some other famous privateers included Francis Drake, John Hawkins, and Richard Hawkins. All these were beloved and supported by the Queen. Colonization. Queen Elizabeth was secretive about her support for sea dogs for political reasons. However, she loaned them ships, and in return, she took a major part of the loot from their expeditions. Sea dogs succeeded in robbing gold and other wealth from the Spanish ships coming from the New World. This increased the interest of England in America. So England started making overseas trading companies and showed interest in making permanent interest colonies in the New World, including America, India, and other parts. So it was the beginning of colonization. Walter Raleigh was also notoriously famous as a womanizer. He had a great charm, wit, and flirtatious ways which gained attention of many ladies of the court of Queen Elizabeth, including the Queen Elizabeth I. In 1584, Queen Elizabeth granted him a royal charter which authorized him to explore and find any heathen wild land not being ruled by any Christian prince or inhabited by Christian people. He had the support to attack such land and win over it to establish his rule. He sponsored a sea exploration to the New World, and his ships succeeded and sailed to Florida via the Canary Islands and then followed the coast up to what is now known as North Carolina. At the time, he named the area Virginia in honor of Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen. Walter Raleigh was knighted in 1585 by the Queen. He was then appointed as the captain of Queen's Guards for 2 years. Downfall of Sir Walter Raleigh. Raleigh continued to get support and rewards from Queen Elizabeth till 1591. In 1591, he married Elizabeth Bass Throckmorton, a lady-in-waiting of Queen Elizabeth I. It was a secretive marriage because the Queen didn't want any of her ladies-in-waiting to get married. Furthermore, there was a norm that if a man and woman courtier of Queen Elizabeth decided to get married, they had to take permission of the Queen first. His marriage was the beginning of his downfall. In 1592, Elizabeth came to know about this secretive marriage and she arrested both Raleigh and Bass in the Tower of London. However, Raleigh was released after 2 months to lead an attack against the Spanish fleet. He succeeded in robbing a rich Spanish ship and later on was excused from imprisonment to settle the division of loot. In 1593, he was pardoned again and was again appointed a member of parliament. El Dorado, the mythical city of wealth. Raleigh again started his sea voyages and he was given the charge to find the route to the mythical city of wealth called El Dorado. It was a mythical city, so he could never find it. However, he found the route to Guiana and wrote a book titled The Discovery of Guiana, which was published in 1596. He continued to gain support of Queen Elizabeth, but after her death in 1603, he again suffered losses. He was charged of treason against King John I and was imprisoned and ordered to be killed. However, his death execution was postponed and he remained imprisoned in the Tower of London. During this time, he wrote his work, The Historie of the World. He took sources from 6 languages to write this book. He talked about the ancient world, history of Greece and Rome, and geography in this book. In 1617, King James I pardoned Walter Raleigh and sent him on another voyage to Guiana. The times were changed. While Queen Elizabeth encouraged privateers to attack Spanish fleet, King James I wanted to have cordial relationships with other European powers. During his voyage to Guiana, one of his subordinates attacked a Spanish colony, and in the aftermath, the son of Walter Raleigh was fatally wounded. Then Walter Raleigh too attacked the Spanish colony and robbed it. The Spanish ambassador in London complained against him to King John I, and he was called back. King John I had no choice but to announce death sentence against him, and then he was executed on 29th October 1618. Walter Raleigh as the poet. Raleigh's poetry is relatively simple when compared with other poets of his time. His poems lack ornaments and they are very straightforward. Poet C.S. Lewis considered Walter Raleigh as one of the Elizabethan era's silver poets, who resisted Italian Renaissance influence of dense classical references on their poems and avoided using elaborative poetic devices. His poems show strong personal treatment of themes such as love, loss, beauty, and time. His poems were inspired by real events of his life and his surroundings. In some poems, like The Lie and What is Our Life, he shows contempt against the world, and this genre is known as Contemptus Mundi. His most famous poem is Ocean's Love to Cynthia, in which he combined his themes with the styles of his contemporaries like Edmund Spenser and John Donne. In 1592, Christopher Marlowe's pastoral poem The Passionate Shepherd to His Love was published. Walter Raleigh wrote a response to this poem in a pastoral manner of his own, which was titled The Nymph's Reply to the Shepherd. Just like Marlowe's poem, he used 6 4-line stanzas with rhyme scheme of AABB. In this poem, Raleigh refuted every sentiment of Marlowe's poem line by line. During the 20th century, modern poet William Carlos Williams also wrote a poem in support of Raleigh's response to Marlowe, which was titled Raleigh Was Right. So this was all important information and facts about Sir Walter Raleigh. We will come again with other Elizabethan author pertaining with the course of the history of English literature for the preparation of UGC NET English, GATE English, TRB English, TGT PGT English and other competitive exams. Stay connected with the discourse. Thanks and regards.